They don't have to wait 3 years. So anyway, Marc-Andre Fleury is the new John Van Beesbrook. Let's get on. Let's have you on here. For the Nashville Predators, the Stanley Cup playoffs, which begin tonight, 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 in Nashville, against the Colorado Avalanche in a best-of-7 first-round Stanley Cup playoff series. Well, the Stanley Cup playoffs this year are basically Stanley Cup championship or bust for the Nashville Predators. Number 1 seed, runner-up last year, you do the math. So the Nashville Predators are the new Alabama Crimson Tide. They're the new New England Patriots. Win the title or it's not a good season. Of course, so are the Pittsburgh Penguins in that regard. Here's Alex Daugherty of OnTheForecheck.com to talk about this. I've been reading your website here, and the consensus is from all but one of your writers that the Predators are going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals this year. I like their depth. I like the fact that Pekka Rinne is rested. I like their late season pickups. But what could be the Achilles heel of the Predators in this playoff? Alex Daugherty.
Well, I think it's not necessarily them. It's not the Predators. It's probably more the matchups that they could possibly face. Now, first, obviously, they have to get by the Colorado Avalanche. I think in almost every way, the matchup favors the Predators. So if they don't stumble over themselves, they shouldn't have a problem with the Avalanche. So I would be shocked if it's a sweep. It'll probably go 5 or 6 games. I think that their biggest obstacle in their way is probably the Winnipeg Jets, and they just won their first game last night. They are a really tough matchup for the Predators because of their excellent scoring, and they're not a bad defensive team either. So I think it's either just another matchup or and then the only other thing is injury. I mean, if they face an injury like they did last year, losing Ryan Johansson, losing Kevin Fiala, losing Mike Fisher, that could be another thing. So I'd say it's right now they are built as good as any team in the league to win the Cup. They just have to hope that the matchups fall where they do, and that they don't suffer any too big of injuries.
Well, the interesting thing about the Avalanche, and I believe you said that's the team that you thought the Predators really matched up well with, but you've written this as their top line. And if they have any chance of winning this series, Nathan MacKinnon has got to have a big series. You broke down his last 25 games. You had him with 15 goals. I saw 120 shots. And I just saw those 4 talented defensemen led by PK Subban with the Predators just saying, oh my goodness, my ribs are going to hurt from blocking all those shots. I guess, any team's going to shoot the puck, let's face it. But 120 shots from MacKinnon really stood out there. But who do you think faces off? How do you think that the Predators are going to try to break down and stop MacKinnon and company?
Well, I think that they will rely on their top 4 line to do that. Ryan Johansson, Phil Forsberg, Victor Arvidsson is the Predators' number 1 line unequivocally, and they're going to be tasked with trying to shut that line down. They will have some help in the form of Roman Josi and Ryan Ellis, I think, who are the faster of the defensive pairings and are going to be able to keep up with MacKinnon's speed. So MacKinnon is a world-class skater. I mean, he is an elite athlete in terms of speed. Takes maybe a shade less than Connor McDavid. He's not as fast as Connor McDavid, but he is right there with him. I think before Connor McDavid was here, MacKinnon was the fastest skater in the All-Star game. So this guy is super fast, and the other 2 players he plays with play fast. They're not as fast as him, but they play very fast. So it's going to be just a matter of canceling them out. Now, after they do that, it's going to become a depth issue for the Avalanche because the Predators can then roll out a line with Kyle Turris and Craig Smith and Kevin Fiala, all of which have had excellent seasons, and some other depth guys, Fisher, Ryan Hartman, or Scott Hartnell to step in and clean up, so to speak, on those lower lines.
We're talking to Alex Daugherty of OnTheForecheck.com, and when you want Predators news, I really recommend this website. It's where I go to. But, you know, the Predators, now they're in the playoffs. They're getting the newspaper articles about them. And one that I read from the Associated Press yesterday was about Pekka Rinne, and they were talking about, well, is he haunted by his Stanley Cup failures? And I just sort of scratched my head and said, really? Because although I remember he was pulled in game one, and there was another game where he was too, you know, okay, one bad game. The man, and you mentioned you mentioned Ellis and Yossi. They were the players who not only are going to be tasked as defensemen along with the line of the Predators, the checking line, but also they shut down the Blackhawks top line last year when the Predators swept the Blackhawks in the first round, and that's when everybody put their antenna up and said this could be special. Here's my question: is Rinne? I mean, at 14 victories in the playoffs last year, a 196 goals against. This year, rested, second lowest goals against average of his career, I believe. What, you know, is he taking too much grief for one bad game in the Stanley Cup Finals last year?
You know, probably so. I think it was actually coming back. He had a couple bad games in the finals. I mean,
he was pulled twice.
He did not play well with Pittsburgh. He didn't. There was one game against St. Louis that he didn't play well. So, like, I think what I guess what I'm saying is some of the criticism is warranted because he did eventually come down a little bit. Now, if the Predators win the Stanley Cup instead of Penguins last year, Rinne is absolutely the Conn Smythe winner. He's the MVP of the playoffs for the Predators. But you know, if you look at his history, I mean, he is an excellent playoff goalie over his career. He's got a slightly higher save percentage in the playoffs. Actually, it's about the same, I guess. It's about the same. But for increased play in the playoffs, that's pretty good. And he's got a lot of wins. He carried the team in 2011, 2012 in the playoffs. And what I think people don't give Pekka Rinne enough credit for is the injury that he suffered in 2013 and the subsequent infection of that injury would be career-ending for most goalies. I mean, it's just not something that anyone can really. It's a hip injury. I mean, it's something that you cannot come back from. It's like a catcher having a back injury in baseball. I mean, it's just something you cannot play your position without that. And he fought through it and rested, and then finally they have a goalie and a backup goalie to give him rest. He finished with 59 starts this year, the lowest he's had in probably 4 or 5 years, and really longer than that because there was a lockout in there. So probably the lowest number of starts, given that he could have started every game that he's had ever in his career. So very well rested. I think he does have something to prove because he knows he came 2 games short of the Cup last year, and I think he's definitely their best player going into the playoffs.
Well, you've got the Predators in 6. I know that the playoffs began last night, and 2 of the teams that you thought would lose, Vegas and the Penguins, actually won their games, lose their series. They won their initial games. But, yeah, I know a lot of people are giving the Jets a lot of respect on your staff. Look, I got 5 seconds left, and it's race week. I'm talking to Matt Yoakum next on Tri-City Sports Now. And I don't mean to give you the bums. I'd love to do this again. Would you like to come on Monday?
Sure, that's fine, yeah.
Okay, let's do this on Monday then. And I'm sorry we didn't have more time here, but yeah, this is, I've got a guest coming up next, and Matt Yoakum, who's a